Today we are driving the 2025 BMW i7 eDrive50, but as always, let me give you a brief tour of the car before I get it out on the road. This brief tour is going to be quite interesting because there are a lot of luxurious features and a lot of advanced tech to this car. The key fob is pretty standard BMW design, and I think it is quite nice. Taking a look at the exterior design, this is a very new design for BMW, so we have a split headlight design, we have functional vents underneath that, a very large blocked off kidney grille, some fake ventilation at the bottom, and the BMW badge is going to be surrounded in blue, signifying that this is an electric car. Moving around to the side, you're going to see that we have these nice 20-inch alloy wheels, and because we have the M Sport package, we are going to have M branding on the wheels. I think this is a really cool touch, but I think it should be reserved for the real M cars. The mirrors are going to have heating, blind spot monitoring, auto dimming, and power folding. The door handles are a little bit unusual, and if you don't have the power doors, you're just going to push on the pad and open them right up. They will also come with soft close. Taking a look at the profile, you can see that this is not a small car. In fact, it is actually 211 inches long. That is really big for a sedan. The back wheels are going to be identical as the front, so you're going to have the little M logo even though this is not a real M car. And taking a look at the back, you're going to see that we have a very handsome design from BMW. These taillights are very detailed and they will be fully LED. You also have the blue around the BMW badge just like the front. There isn't a lot going on at the bottom except for the reverse light in the middle and this little chrome piece. I don't love the way the front looks, especially compared to the predecessor, but I think the back looks really amazing. But now let's go ahead and see about trunk space. The i7 does come with a hands-free powered trunk lid, and inside the trunk, you're going to find 17.7 cubic feet of space. That is a lot of space, and the trunk goes back really far. In addition to that, you get this really nice bag that will hold your charging cables, and under the floor, you will find a ton of underfloor storage. You should have no problems with space in the i7. But now let's go ahead and check out the interior because that is where you really want to be in the BMW i7. Opening up the back doors, you can see that the door panel is very detailed. There's leather from top to bottom, and you have power sunshades, which I'll show you a little bit later, and you even have quilting at the bottom. That is very nice. The door pocket has a ton of space, and you get M branded tread plates. These super comfortable seats are made of real quilted leather, and they will have pillows on the headrest, heating, and power adjusting. You can also option on an ottoman for the passenger side. The back doors will also have soft close, and on the back of the seats, you will find this little aluminum piece, and underneath it you will have an iPad mount as well as a USB-C port. Even with the front seats slid almost all the way back, I still have over a foot of knee room in the i7. The seat back pocket has a lot of space, and in the middle you have these air vents as well as some wood trim. But now let's go ahead and talk about the screens on the door. You can control things like your climate menu, so you have your heated seats inside of the climate menu. You can also control the fan speed as well as the temperature. By the way, there is 4-zone climate inside the i7. And you can go to different things like the blinds. You can put up individual blinds or you can close them all at once. That will include the shade for the moonroof, the shade for the back, as well as the sides. You can also close and open them all individually, or you can just do it all with one click of a button. Everything is going to open when you click Open All. This screen is super responsive and very user-friendly. Going back to the home screen, you can power adjust your seat with this app right here, and there are 2 positions of memory seating, and you can also control the reading lights as well as the ambient lighting, which is actually very cool at night. You can also adjust the color temperature of the reading lights. Now, there are quick access buttons to things like the climate control, and you can also adjust the display brightness. And then there are My modes. These are a little bit hard to explain, but they're kind of like drive modes, but they affect different things in the cabin like the ambient lighting or the sunshades. I want to point out that there are vents on the B-pillar, and up top is going to be a fixed glass roof that does not open. I am very happy that BMW is including a shade, however. On the backs of the headrests are going to be some glossy wood trim as well as the M colors. But now let's go ahead and close up the moonroof with this little slider right here. And this is a little peek of what the front looks like. The glass crystal that you see that's blue is actually the ambient lighting, and that looks really cool at night. But now let's go ahead and see what the driver and front passenger are going to get up front. I want to point out that with the executive package, you can actually get fully powered doors, and those are really cool. Opening up the door manually, you can see on the door panel there is a lot of glass crystal for the ambient lighting as well as the seat controls. The switchgear is going to be in gloss black, and there's a good amount of door storage at the bottom. There's M branding on your tread plates, and your seats are going to be made of real quilted leather with heating, ventilation, and 20 ways of power adjusting. You can also option on massage with the executive package. But now let's go ahead and get inside and start it up. The steering wheel is going to be very nicely leather wrapped and heated. You get a boost pedal for some extra power for a limited amount of time, and the BMW logo on the steering wheel is going to be surrounded in blue because this is an electric car. You can customize the gauges with the content as well as the layouts, and I think the gauge cluster looks really nice. Additionally, you have a very detailed head-up display, which is going to be very helpful for long road trips if you don't want to look down. But now let's go ahead and check out the main infotainment system. This is going to look a little bit different for electric BMWs, but it is still BMW's latest eDrive50. You get a very high-tech personal assistant, which is very helpful, and the climate controls are going to be integrated with the screen. You will have to take your eyes off the road for a little bit longer than you would with physical buttons, but I think they're still very easy to use. You also have this very large knob in glass crystal to control the main infotainment system. I forgot to mention that the main infotainment system measures in at 14.9 inches. These buttons feel very high quality, and I don't want to stop clicking them. Putting the car in reverse with the glass crystal shifter, you can see we have a very high resolution backup camera. You can also go into the 3D view and control the car with the gestures. You can also use the screen if that is too gimmicky for you. The car wash view is for lining up your tires correctly at a car wash, and the backup assistant is going to take you out of a parking space the same way you went into it. That is good for if you have a really long and narrow driveway or if somebody next to you didn't park very well. These are really cool functions in the i7, and to put it into park, you're just going to click the parking brake button. We also have a 20-speaker Bowers & Wilkins sound system on today's model. And for storage, you have this very large center console with felt lining and rubber lining as well as 2 USB-C ports. Just take a look at this beautiful glass crystal. That's going to serve as your ambient lighting, and it's just going to give you a very interesting cabin experience. You also have some glossy wood trim. You can customize that, by the way. And you have heated and ventilated seats. You also have 3 stages of heated steering wheel, which is very rare for the segment. One last thing that I want to point out with the glass crystal is that when you click the hazard light button, it is actually going to flash red. Let me know in the comment section what you think of that. Is that too much or is that okay? But I don't know about you, I am ready to get this BMW i7 out on the road. So let's go ahead and wrap up this brief tour and take this for a drive. Alright, we are going to kick off our test drive with a little acceleration test, and then we'll get into the specs. Now that we've seen that this car can really move, let's go ahead and get into the specs. The i7 comes in 3 different versions, the eDrive50, which we have today, the xDrive60, and the M70. The M70 is obviously going to be the most powerful out of the 3, but for this eDrive50 model, it is going to be rear-wheel drive powered by a single electric motor making 449 horsepower and 549 pound-feet of torque. It can go 321 miles on a single charge, and I just mentioned it is going to be rear-wheel drive. If you live in a snowier state or the winters are a little bit more harsh in your area, you might want to swing for the xDrive60. 449 horsepower is solid for a base model car, and this car can do 0 to 60 in about 4.5 seconds. That's pretty good. Now, the overall driving experience of the i7 is very relaxing. You feel nothing but calm and relaxed as you drive this car. First of all, it's very quiet, and the noises it makes as you're accelerating are very cool. They were actually made by Hans Zimmer, which is something that you don't see every day. The ride quality is very good. The ride is extremely compliant, and you barely feel the bumps as you go over them. It also helps that the seats are incredibly relaxing, and they will come with heating and ventilation, and because they have 20 ways of power adjustments, you can get it pretty much just right. Wind noise barely enters the cabin, and passing vehicles around you, well, you barely even notice them. There is no tire noise, and I am just amazed at how quiet BMW can get their cabins. The incredibly luxurious cabin also adds to the amazing driving experience. This car has so much tech and so many great features. I have never seen people put screens on the door, and they're kind of like phones, to be honest. They are definitely shaped like phones, and they are pretty much as responsive as a phone. The materials inside of here are just gorgeous. You get so much leather, all of that glass crystal looks really cool in the daytime and at night. You have so many different options for wood trim, and you can even get carbon fiber. And you have a lot of great color options for the seats, and they're going to be so comfortable whatever color you choose. I didn't mention this earlier, but you can get a lot of crazy options for the rear seats. With this base model, it is still incredibly luxurious in the back, but if you choose the eDrive50 and option on a few packages, you can get things like a passenger side footrest, you can get wireless phone chargers in the middle if you fold down the rear seat, you can also get this very large 31-inch screen with 8K resolution that is also a touchscreen, and you can watch whatever you want back there, including YouTube and Netflix. There are also a lot of other options that I might not get into right now, but for being the base model and having so many features and so much space, I am very impressed. This is kind of like a bargain Rolls-Royce, and I can kind of see some parts of the Ghost in this car, especially with how quiet it is. This is definitely not as quiet as the Ghost, but it is going to be a lot quieter than your average car. But now let's go ahead and talk about the technology. The eDrive50 system is very responsive and very easy to use, but the climate controls can be a little bit tedious if you're first getting used to the car. You might have to take your eyes off the road a little bit longer than you might want to, and even though the personal assistant is very useful, it can be a little bit gimmicky for some people, especially older people. Now, this is a very useful system, and it is going to take a little bit getting used to, but once you get used to the car and used to the infotainment system, it is going to be like a piece of cake. The climate controls may not be as easy to use as you might like because you have to click multiple buttons to just turn on your heated or ventilated seats or even the heated steering wheel. I feel like that could be a physical button on the steering wheel itself. I don't exactly understand why it's in the infotainment system, but you're just gonna have to take a few weeks to get used to the car. Let's go ahead and see how quick the i7 can get to 60 uphill. I would say that it's pretty good, especially considering that is a very steep uphill. Now back to the driving experience. You have a lot of great driver's assistance tech like adaptive cruise control, and with the executive package you can get stop and go cruise control. And there are also a lot of other options like traffic jam assist for speeds under 40 miles per hour. So the car is basically going to drive itself if you're going under 40 miles per hour and it thinks you're stuck in traffic. While you're driving around town or on the highway, you might want to listen to the 20-speaker Bowers & Wilkins sound system. I'm not able to show you what it is like on camera because, of course, copyright, but I can assure you that I have listened to it in the X7 I reviewed a few months ago, and I can assure you that it is amazing. There is so much detail, so much clarity, and you can really feel it in your seats. But we are ending the very relaxing test drive with this BMW i7. Let me go ahead and wrap it up. Overall, the i7 is an amazing car. You have so much space, so much tech, and so many great luxurious features. If you had the money to afford it, I'm sure you would love living with the i7. Thank you all so much for your continuous support, and be sure to leave your thoughts down in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.